Today I'm going to show you how to achieve this cut crease smoky eye, and in doing so we're going to fake the appearance of bigger eyes. To start with, I'm going to use this MakeUp Forever Skin Equaliser primer. So this is a mattifying primer. It's going to fight against excess oil to make sure that you have no unwanted shine. So this product fills in your pores and any small lines and imperfections so that your foundation goes on smoother and lasts a lot longer. You can apply this with a brush, I just find it goes on better with your fingers. Next I'm taking this cream foundation by Mud, also known as Makeup Designery, and I'm going to be applying this over the entire face and neck with my MAC Duo Fibre 130 brush. Now it says online that this foundation can be applied from a sheer to a full coverage. I'm applying it with a Duo Fibre brush because I do want the most sheer coverage that it can give, but it's definitely still more of a medium to full coverage. I personally wouldn't describe it as a sheer coverage. But having said that, that doesn't mean that it feels cakey. It actually feels very lightweight on the skin and it doesn't look thick and full on. So it is lightweight, it's just that the pigment itself is really good coverage. Also, the formulation of these have been made to withstand extreme conditions, so they're made to hold up on the skin really well. Next I'm taking the darkest colour in my medium Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Palette. And again, I'm using the same Duo Fibre brush because I want a very sheer coverage of this product. Using a very light hand, I'm working that into the hollows of the cheeks and along the temple. Because we haven't set the foundation, the two creams blend into each other really well. I'm also going to take a very small amount of that around my hairline. When using a product that gives you quite good coverage, you definitely need to add a little bit more structure back into your face because it can look very, very flat. On a smaller brush, again, I'm taking a very small amount down the sides of my nose. I'm using a brush with synthetic bristles as they work really well with cream, and I'm using my finger to blend that in. It's not always about contouring for the sake of contouring, sometimes it's just about bringing some warmth back to the face. So off camera, I just adjusted the light to my camera because it's very bright and it's a little bit overexposed, and I've also done my brows off camera. So I'm going to be using this eyeshadow palette by Natasha Denona. This palette is 08, and using my MAC 239 brush, I'm going to apply the lightest shade in the palette to the brow bone, and the colour of this eyeshadow is called Golden Beige. Next I'm using Makeup Geek's eyeshadow in Frappe, and this is a matte finish eyeshadow, and we're going to be using this as our transition shade. Using my MAC 217 brush, I'm working that just above the natural socket of the eye. I'm taking that all the way to the inner corner just underneath the front of the eyebrow, and I'm working that colour in circular motions all the way to the outer edge, and then using the tip of my brush I'm going to angle the eyeshadow up and out to meet the tail of the eyebrow. Then you just want to trace your steps with a brush with what's left on the bristles and just keep buffing over that eyeshadow. You want it to be seamless as it meets that golden beige colour that we've got on the brow bone. The next step is eyeliner. The one I'm using is by MAC Cosmetics, and this one is their Fluid Line in Black Track. The brush I'm using is my favourite paintbrush, but unfortunately the number is rubbed off so I can't tell you which one it is, but I will insert the name in the description box. So as you can see, I've lined across my top lid all the way to the outer edge. I'm extending the wing quite far out, and then using the tip of the brush I'm pulling the colour back on myself, creating the thickness of the wing. If you want more detail on how to get the perfect angle for your eyeliner, check out my previous tutorial, which again I will link at the end of this video. So now I'm just using what's left on my brush to fill in the wing, and also the very tip of the brush just to perfect that outer point. Now remember, the key when doing eyeliner is patience. So just take your time, and the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. Now I'm using the length of the brush and I'm wiggling that underneath my top lashes to coat my top waterline. Time for eyeshadow. I'm using Makeup Geek's black eyeshadow in Corrupt, and because I've already applied my base, I've popped on a shadow shield to catch any fall down. Here I'm using my MAC 226 angle brush, and I'm feathering that eyeshadow off of the wing so we're getting a diffused appearance. Then I'm turning my brush round and I'm going to start creating a cut crease. As I don't want this to be too harsh, I'm going to use a light hand and feather the colour upwards. Then I'm going to go in with a blending brush and soften that. The idea is to apply a very small amount first and then blend that away, then go a little bit further up with your brush like I'm doing now, and again using a feather motion pulling the colour up and out and then blending again. Now you'll notice I'm placing this eyeshadow above my natural socket line, and the reason for this is so that we get the appearance of a bigger eyelid. I'm working the colour up so that we meet just underneath the front of the eyebrow. Next I'm going in with another matte eyeshadow. This is Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek, and this is a nice warm brown. Using the same angle brush, we're tracing the area that we've applied the black, and you can see it's almost like a straight line from the outer corner up to where the front of the eyebrow is. Then using that same blending brush, we're going to work the bristles backwards and forwards directly over where we've applied the eyeshadow. We don't want to migrate the eyeshadow from where we've placed it, otherwise it can start to look muddy and messy. but we just want to soften it, so just keep going backwards and forwards directly on the top of the eyeshadow. You'll know if you've blended it out too far because you'll lose the colour that you've got on the brow bone. Here I'm reapplying Cocoa Bear, building up that opacity, and then I'm repeating the same blending process, working directly on top of that eyeshadow placement. Now I'm going in with a clean blending brush and working that backwards and forwards over the seam between the brow bone and Cocoa Bear that we've created in that false socket. Going back to my 226 brush and that black eyeshadow, I'm pulling the colour up to diffuse that outer wing a little bit more, but I'm also going to start defining that cut crease. Notice how I'm not taking the black all the way up, instead we'll use the blending brush to fade that black upwards. I'm using the same 217 brush because it has residue of that brown on, and that's going to help us blend out the black. Here's where my camera had stopped recording. I took this colour, which is the one we've got on the brow bone, and I just placed it in the empty space that we've got on the mobile eyelid, and I also placed it just above my natural socket following the line of the cut crease. Now I'm taking this brightener pencil by Tarte Cosmetics and I'm applying this to the waterline. As this look is about making the eyes look a lot bigger, this is a trick to make the actual eyeball itself look bigger. Going back to the black eyeshadow and our angled liner brush, I'm creating a line on the inner corner of the eye, and I'm dropping that below the tear duct by about 1 millimeter. Then I'm going to continue to line underneath the lower lashes, connecting that with the outer corner of the top lid. So by dropping that line at the front lower than the natural line, we've really opened up the inner corner of the eyes, so framing the eyes with this technique really makes them look a lot larger than they naturally are. To soften that line so it's not as harsh and it looks a little bit more diffused, I've gone in with Cocoa Bear on a pencil brush and just traced the line. Off camera I'm applying these Dulled by Mook lashes in Layla, and then under my lower lashes I'm applying this set by House of Lashes, and these are called Precious. Using a set of tweezers, I place the centre of the lash underneath my lower lashes, and then I just tuck the corners in, and then use the tweezers to lift them off your face while they dry. I'm taking MAC's Sculpt Pro Powder to define the hollows of my cheeks, and I'm using my favourite Zoeva Luxe Cheek Brush. I think the number is 127. For lips I'm using this Natasha Denona lip colour in Rosy Nude, this is 54M. And I've decanted a small amount out and I'm using a lip brush to apply that to my top and bottom lips. To add some subtle definition to my lips, I'm using MAC's Lip Pencil in Strip Down. Using a light hand, I'm just tracing my natural lip line. And then over there, I'm using another Natasha Denona product. This one is a lip gloss in number 16, Wooden Rose. I absolutely love the formula and texture of these lip glosses. They're so comfortable to wear and they're not at all sticky. The last product I'm using is a small amount of my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Champagne Pop, and I'm applying that to the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. And that completes this smoky cut crease look to make your eyes look bigger. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget you can always tweak the look and adjust the colours to suit your skin tone. As usual, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. They're all at ShowMe MakeUp. You can also subscribe to my channel for free, and the button for that is below.